got a new table in the main. Gene's over here. I've played a lot of PLO with. I actually don't recognize any of these other players. Any of you guys? Let me know. Might help. So begun here. We'll focus on this for now. Sixes. 83 big blinds. We've got a pretty decent stack. Still pretty early in the event. And this player opens the 3 big blinds, which is too big. So I'm going to take that to mean he's... Wow. Maybe it's not too big. I don't know. I'm going to take it to mean he's a little more likely to be recreational. Trying to do... I can't type anything. Alright, whatever. Just like a little more information about him, but we're going to have to settle for not having it. Hi there, thank you very much. Kinpez. I don't play or study very much at all these days, to be honest. Never was much of a studier, but I did used to play all the time. Now I spend a lot of time on run-at-once poker. But I do miss playing. Love playing poker. And I'm happy to be doing it now. So against that large sizing and then this reasonably large sizing on this flop, I think I can just fold. I was hoping because he opened larger that he might be more likely to be recreational and then, you know, more likely to make some big mistakes post-flop. But, you know, part of that is, or part of capitalizing on that is hoping that, you know, I can flop a set and stack him, as well as, you know, I don't know, a number of other potential mistake types. Ace-king suited. Up here, I think I'm just going with min raises with these stacks. A PKR man, X Sand Sevens, Pedor Canuck Box Beefstick 7. Thank you for the follows. Here we're gonna be all in with our Ace King suited. I don't think there's much reason to. I mean, there's zero reason to do anything else. Gonna take like just a few seconds, which is what I would do with some hands that I maybe have a tougher decision with. We are flipping, and you can read the board. Some more follows. Radar Mensch, Markinator, 87 Stefka, 25 Ellie, 90X, Fist of Heaven. Thank you for the follows. I turned off notifications like across my screen. Where is it? Down. Wow, I suck at this. Down there. For the follows, just because some people said it was bothering them yesterday. But I get notified down here. I'm going to miss some, of course, when I'm staring at pocket tens. I think 76 big blinds. This is just a little bit too weak to raise get in. I could raise fold, but it seems like a waste of a hand. Kind of. Gene's is relatively, well, he's like at least in PLO, he's generally tight and then selectively will make some moves, which is, I guess, maybe how I'd categorize myself. So I guess that means I think it's a good strategy. Now we have a fairly easy decision. And it's kind of unfortunate spot to have folded, but no regrets. You can't be getting in tens against people playing ranges that strong, or you know. A little interesting to note. This player was the one we thought might be recreational earlier. He also snap jammed there, which is not interesting in and of itself or on its own as a read, but some people tend to slowly jam or do something else with super monsters, and then they just snap jam the stuff like that, where they're like, you know, I'm not going to make him fold anything better, and I'm not going to make him call anything worse, so who cares? I'm just going to rip this in. So if we see him use a different timing later, with a different category of hand, we might have a timing tell on him. But if he's watching this stream, then he might reverse timing tell us. So I'm actually not going to read too much into it. Easy opening with jacks. I'm trying to decide if we want to be betting full range on queen 8-8 against the big blind. I think the answer is no. Although with this SPR, it wouldn't be bad. This seems like a pretty decent hand to check back, though, if we are going to check back some hands. So let's go for it. And he pretty quickly pots, which I also think is strange. So on the one hand, I'm towards the top of my check back range, so this like should be a call. On the other hand, it seems kind of strange to play us like, I don't know. It seems strong to me. So let me think this through. He's repping like 8x, and I mean King X of diamonds, some random King X. I don't know why I'm struggling to. So like some players just always have 8x here. Some always have bluffs. There are a lot of combos of like, I don't know, there are a lot of combos of 8x as well. The king is actually like not that bad of a card because it means he's not going to play queen this way. Where's he from? This is a close spot. Russia. I don't want to use all my time bank on this. I'm going to call. For some reason, I think he has 8x, though. I mean, not for some reason. He's kind of repping 8x, but I think I'm going to call anyways. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to take some notes here. Term is a brick, right? 7. The thing is, when they narrow their ranges to just like that thin of a value hand by his play and his timing, they that's what we call a polarized range. And while I guess you may be wondering why I was like, I think he has trips, and then I called anyways. When they're repping a polarized range like that, there are not that many combos of the hand that he's representing or stronger, and there are some some people that play that way or play kind of erratically and just randomly stab stuff when you check. So there are some players who just always have it there. There are a number of players who like never have it there. And I think when you average them all out and take into account your pot odds, lose passive. Take into account your pot odds, I think it's a good enough spot to call. And I mean, this maybe is a little. So this is probably not supposed to be a peel, but I think you can get away with it. But yeah, I think taking into account pot odds, and this is maybe a little justification after the fact, but I think that getting that information is quite valuable as well when it's not a large portion of our stack that we're calling off, and we get to continue playing with him. So finding out what he has there is quite worthwhile. Still, I'm doing okay. Still got 744. Had about 100k more, but that's how it goes. Here we got ace queen offsuit. Obviously going to be playing under most circumstances. Between hands, I'll take some looks at any showdowns that we see. So this player is opening to he's opening at 2.7. He's used a few different sizings. I'm not really sure what to make of this. I'm gonna opt to 3-bet this hand. I don't really know what I'm doing if he 4-bets to any amount though. But I'd like to isolate him. He's been involved in a few pots. We did see him have ace-king once. We didn't see his hand in some other spots. I'm looking back through hands. And, he may or may not be playing poorly. We don't know. So SPR of 4, and we have essentially the nut top pair. I think we'll start with a bet. He snap calls, which to me means I very likely have the best hand, which I kind of already thought. The 6 is not too scary. So I'm going to go for stacks here. Snap call again. I mean, I think he has worse than my hand. Like the snap plays, I don't know. I think he has ace jack, ace 8. Maybe like a 9-8 suited. Very easy value shove on the river here. Catching up on chat while he's in the tank. Jack of diamonds is a bad card to have. Yeah, I didn't have the best blockers for that call, but still felt like it was right. He did have ace jack. Can't fault him too much, or can't really fault him at all. It's one of the best hands he's going to have in that spot, so he's going to be way over folding if he doesn't defend there. Meanwhile, we open here. Chip Reader, Kaw, and Zach, thank you for the follows. Get 3-bet by Jeans. This is an amount where it's actually a pretty awkward spot for us, like ripping in 60 big blinds, a little bit too much. I actually think ripping in 60 big blinds, like, I think he's folding a lot. I think it's plus EV, but I think I'm just going to call. The other options don't seem thrilling. I just like to look at this in chips, okay. Diver down, yeah, I mean, that might very well may be what happened. And on this turn, I do think his sizing is indicative of a lot of, like, ace-x suited, king-queen suited, like stuff that didn't want to be jammed on. But he also, I mean, Jeans is a pro, he probably just has a standard sizing, so I shouldn't read too much into that, maybe. I block ace-king and king-queen, both suited and offsuit. However, I don't really raise too much here without, like, ripping it in. I think I'm just going to fold. I'm blocking also his, like, ace-x suited. I think he'd stab 9-4 deuce with a lot of stuff that that has 0 showdown value. So I'm okay with that fold. Here we face an under the gun open. We have king-5 suited. We're going to peel. Yeah, don't know much about this player. What country is he from? I like getting countries. Canada. Okay. And here, I expect him to c-bet most of his range, so this is a spot I think I'm going to go for the check raise. The thing about the c-bet range spots, like, I think normally this is a check call in a lot of circumstances, but when people c-bet range, that means they include, like, 6s, and then he can fold a hand like that. You know, if... Let me think this through. Yeah. Gonna raise, call it off, and I mean, there's the outside chance we get it in with, you know, Queen Jack, Queen 10, 10-9 of clubs, etc. We block Ace King. Not that that's that worthwhile because Ace Queen, Ace Jack are going in as well. Got ourselves in an unfortunate spot now where, I mean, I think we have to jam, but he's not folding. He's not folding an ace, but we have some equity, and he could bet call like 7-8 of spades. And that's like a good example of a hand that probably would have folded a different turn. So I like my line. Unfortunate turn for us, of course, when he actually had one clean out to the 10. So I think on basically every other turn we're gonna win the pot. But yeah, unfortunate turn of events. No pun intended. I've been min-raising. I can go a little bigger now because the shortest stack is 32 bigs. Take some notes there, and small blind cold call range is going to be pretty strong. I still think I can just bet this hand. With the Queen of Spades, which means they're going to fold a little bit more. It also means I have some backdoor draws. And I have a range that can support this, certainly. I do run into, like, I think he calls 3-3 and 5-5, so I will run into some sets here occasionally, but he's not going to ever have two pair. Ever. I block ace 10, block queen 10, although not really. I don't think he has queen 10 off. He might. And on this turn, I'm going to bet again, targeting pocket sevens and stuff like that. I'm going to go with the slight overbet, which I am comfortable doing with like a and he snap calls representing a bluff catcher. All right, hang tight. So has he been watching the stream? Who is he? He's from Brazil. That's not good. I don't think he has a flush, so he's got a big stack. I think he's calling. So I do think I run into like 8-8 with a spade here a lot. I think he has a weak hand, but I'm just not going to go for it because I think he's going to call 8-8 with a spade. I sized up in hopes of getting that hand to fold on the turn, but instead he just snap calls it. A lot of snap callers here. All right. I still did have plenty of equity there. Pogorino, no, I think even on a board pair he might fold tens, but yeah. Mr. Bayerns, thank you very much. I do plan to stream all week. It won't be WCOOP events. Queen 8-8, I don't know if I need to bet range, but I can. Sixes are, well, the 6 of hearts is a reasonable blocker. I think he has 8-6 of hearts in his pre-flop range. But really it's just protection, and my under the gun range is so strong that, you know, can go for it. King, queen off, going to be opened under the gun. Everybody's pretty deep here. I'll open a 2.2 instead of 2. Doesn't really make a huge difference in my opinion. We still have 733 players remaining. Long way to go. Chown the key says, yeah. Essential only. Essential, we only guess one whole card. Elite, we go for both. That's where I teach you my secrets of knowing both their whole cards, which is pretty important. Guessing the exact suits. Info tab, yep. Got it before I read that, but certainly far after you said it, of course. I get called by Perry on the button by this fellow. I feel like I recognize this name, maybe. Pretty ugly flop for our hand, and not great. I think for our range, they're gonna have all of these sets. I will too, but yeah, when I hold no blockers to like any continuing range, I'm just gonna check and well, I block king 10 and queen 10, but you know what I mean. I don't have very good cards here for as far as interacting with the board, which means they're more likely to have cards that interact with the board. Okay, very good. Okay, Perry Mason, good Swedish reg. On PokerStars, though, where the games are not anonymous, if they try to ban HUDs, I don't think they're going to successfully do it because properly motivated people will find a way to get around it, and it is easy to be properly motivated because there's so much value to be gained in a non-anonymous environment that doesn't provide you any of the information like we do. For the record, I don't think there's anything wrong with HUDs in poker. I think that, I mean, we chose to not have them on our site. That's essentially all there is to it. But I think allowing HUDs is fine. I think what's not fine is not allowing HUDs, but then not really enforcing it or giving the cheaters an unfair advantage. Here with Jack high, I am at the bottom of my range, but I don't think it's a spot that I want to be bluffing. Meanwhile, down here, I 3-bet, c-bet flop. On the smaller side, I c-bet turn. On the bigger side, there's a lot to get value from and protect against, and I'm going to be jamming almost every river. The exception of Jack 10 and Queen, probably. Maybe even Queen, actually. I'll jam a Queen. I will jam this river. And up here, we're facing this bet. We're folding, of course. Dublin Gangster 9 says, Phil just downloaded Rio, run on one side of you, and created an account. Does it allow you to pick an avatar? I haven't deposited yet. Yes, it does let you pick an avatar. If you go into your... It's always very important to me as a player. This goes back, a decade. I always hated that there were these rules that existed that were unenforceable, and some people would take advantage of them. And I know, for example, that some very successful high stakes players would buy hand histories. That's how they would adjust their strategies to heads up opponents, even those who they hadn't played. I never did that, so I was automatically at a disadvantage against them. And it's never fun as a player, to just know that I'm passing up that advantage because I don't feel right about taking it. But I also know that they're never going to get caught, and I would not have either had I wanted to take advantage of that. So I think those situations, I've always hated those situations as a player, the unenforceable rules, and sometimes they're unavoidable, but for the most part, I think there are things that sites can do to prevent that from happening. Ace Jack 8. This player decides to check. I'm going to do some betting with top 2. Fox X Ace. Do I turn God mode on when I play? Yes, I do, always. I only wear the cost as PS is monitoring your processes. Yes, they're monitoring your processes, but there are ways around that. So, maybe this guy watched my stream yesterday and saw me do some bluffing in a spot like this. I'm going to go with the 150%. I kind of wish... Yeah, I should have gone 16 big blinds here, 15, given my stack. I actually thought I was a little bit deeper. It was poorly calculated. I don't think it matters too much. Up here, I open, and we've got, I think, just barely the right price. This is close. Not in good shape against that hand until the flop. That's an unfortunate river. 10s are really getting me lately. I don't know about that call. I needed about 10 more seconds to figure it out. And very unfortunate result, but that's what I get for trying to do business at the same time as play a big tournament. So to call... Yeah, I think maybe that was supposed to be a fold. So that's too bad that I made a mistake there and got punished for it. Still have an okay stack, but it's unfortunate. I think when I open under the gun, that's just too loose. 40 big blinds, I think I just call here. Of the splash the pot configurations, how often you hit different amounts at different stakes, etc. Worked out the math on that. But I now no longer have access to that because somebody could perceive it as an unfair advantage, which I wouldn't agree with, but I still, you know. Yeah, still wanted to restrict access to that just to be safe. I'm going to go ahead and stab with my middle set. I think this is a board Igor's going to check. He might check range here. And I'm going to do a lot of betting. Burrs with the check raise. So I'm not folding my hand, obviously. I could raise or I could call. Let me think for just a moment. I don't have much time bank here. I'm going to call. The problem with calling, I mean, there's not much of a problem, but the SPR is kind of awkward. He's not going to jam very often. 27 into 22, I think. I'm not really sure what to make of this. I guess the pot's big enough that I'm not going to slow play. I actually think he doesn't have like too many draws. Actually, I should. That's fine size. Because I think a lot of his draws just keep betting for small sizing or something. So it wouldn't be bad to check back and do some river bluff. Yeah, I thought he was folding a lot. But one thing, one leak that I've often had in my career is trying too hard to be tricky. And one thing I've needed to like constantly train myself or like hammer into my own head is, hey, when the pot's big, chill out on the trickiness, Phil. Just play your hand. Matthews shoves under the gun with 7.2 bigs, and I have to decide if I'm going to shove or call. I think this hand prefers to shove, and maybe call ace-king suited. 40 bigs is... if I had like 70, I would call. But I'm just going to rip this in. I get it in quite good this time. Let's see how my all-in game is today. All right. It has improved from earlier. And then they just teased me. My stack looked like it went up to 2 million, but that was the person taking my seat. But hey, we'll take the win. And we'll take the table move. I don't think that was a particularly good table. And there are a number of players here I don't recognize. Do you guys recognize them? You guys have been helping me out thus far. So let me know what you know about these guys. You can even try to trick me if you want, if you are one of these guys. Won't blame you for it. Peter Gambler would rather see Ferris stream than me. Yeah, we're going to try to get her streaming. Ace King offsuit here is going to be 3-bet. Someone's saying you need a player at 50 PLO. Let me check that out. We get jammed on by the big blind. Obviously calling him. The only question is if this player jams as well, if we consider folding our ace-king. And I think we can start to consider it. Would not fold ace-king suited under those circumstances, but now it's an easy call. It's not looking good. And we're going to lose this pot and be down to 20 big blinds and a dream. Not a whole lot we could do there, though. So I know we're about to face an all-in on the river. Well, we're going to call this, and then we're going to shove in the big one momentarily with threes over a cutoff open. Good luck us. Obviously, we're rooting for the fold. Or the call by deuces. That would be good. Wife looking at me, waiting for the update. We get snap called by nines. We have a 2-outer. Did not hit. The update's for the wife. I know you guys can see. GG us. and we are out of the main, but we got 10 more chests. So that's it for the main. That's too bad. We were getting kind of close.